Hello and welcome to Underpaid Gamers Podcast. My name is Justin.
I'm Batman.
And that's Tony.
Oh, I'm Batman.
And today, we're going to be discussing the Batman vs. Superman movie, but also some other things too.
Batman. I'm Batman. I'm Superman.
Wait, no, Superman's like...
I'm Lois Lane.
I'm Superman, and I'm a good boy. Boy Scout. All right,
Almost.
so we're going to talk about the new movie. We just watched it a few days ago. We have a little bit of news today, but primarily really covering the movie release. So, without further ado, hit the theme song!
No more ado.
So, Tony!
Yes?
We're back.
Yes, we are. We're here.
What have you been up to, man?
Nothing?
How's life?
Oh, I downloaded an emulator for my computer.
Oh, really?
And I've been playing Pokemon. I've been doing a Nuzlocke challenge. A Nuzlocke challenge, for anybody that doesn't know, there's only 2.5 rules.
2.5.
The first rule is when a Pokemon dies, when a Pokemon faints, it essentially dies, you have to release it. You can't put it in your PC, you can't save it for later, you have to release it. The second rule is the first Pokemon you encounter on any new route is the only Pokemon you can catch on that route.
Oh my gosh.
And you can't, if you accidentally kill it, if you accidentally make it faint, you can't go back and catch the same Pokemon. You only get one shot to catch it.
For every route?
For every route.
Oh my god.
And the 0.5 rule is you have to give every Pokemon you catch a nickname.
Mm-hmm.
Because you become emotionally attached to them. And then when they faint, you're like, my life is over. So I was playing very cautiously. And I've been playing on my computer and watching House of Cards on the tablet.
Nice.
And
good combo.
Yesterday, I don't know what was going on, but I lost like 4 people. 4 Pokemon I just lost. They all fainted. I have only beaten Brock. I was about to fight Misty. I did play Misty. I did beat her. About to play Lieutenant Surge. I had a Diglett that was leveling up.
Nice.
And I wasn't paying attention, and I looked back, and he was dead.
No!
I don't know how I'm going to beat Lieutenant Surge without a ground type.
I really don't feel like playing with those rules is good for binge watching Netflix. I feel like
You feel like you have to pay attention?
It's super effective against that gaming type. Netflix is.
Oh, well. I don't know. I'm playing Fire Red, so it's not that hard. But I've almost lost my will to play. I had a Bulbasaur. No, sorry. I had a Squirtle that I named after your online persona because Squirtle's your favorite.
I remember that. Did you kill him yet?
He hasn't died yet, luckily, but he's close. Yeah. I didn't use him in any major battle because I didn't want him to die.
Good.
But Misty killed one of mine,
or
2 of mine. I don't know. It's a rough battle. These people are dying.
That makes it way more intense.
Yeah. And then I can't go and catch more Pokemon because I have to go to new routes.
Yeah.
So now I have like 4 Pokemon I have to beat Lieutenant Surge with, and that's not even going to happen. I'm almost done. I also downloaded Fire Emblem Sacred Stones, and I'm going to start playing that today after we get done here because it's my favorite Fire Emblem of all time. And I'm choosing to play that over Conquest because Conquest is so hard.
Very nice.
What have you been up to?
Well, I've been playing Fallout Automation.
Yeah?
I've been playing Fallout.
Have you made a new robot?
No, I haven't.
Do you make a robot companion, or do you make a robot?
You have a companion who is a robot who you can upgrade. But you can also make brand new ones.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to necessarily be the robot from the storyline that is added, but most of the time
can you have a companion and a robot, or is it just one or the other? Because I know you can have dog meat and a companion.
No, you can... no, actually, I think you can only have dog meat. I don't think you can have dog meat in another one.
Really?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
I mean,
what happens to dog meat when you get a companion? Where does he go?
He goes back to the town and you can use him.
Sanctuary?
You can have him follow you, again, if you'd like him to. But overall, I mean, it's been going okay. I put like maybe another hour and a half into Fire Emblem Fates.
Ooh.
Since last we spoke.
Birthright.
Fates. Birthright, yes. The samurai one.
The easy one.
Yeah, the easy one. I just like grinded. I tried to level up some of the characters.
How do you grind on that game? Do they have little extra places you can go? Because you can't grind in Conquest.
Yeah, I mean, do you have a fortress in Conquest?
Yes.
You have your fortress, and when you're on that menu, you can scout. And when you scout, you spend a little bit of gold, and you can like essentially scout out one of the missions you've done before to see if there are soldiers there.
Oh yeah.
And then it says like level 10 or level 14, and you can go fight them. It's called a challenge. And usually you find more gold than it takes to spend it. So you can like profit. Essentially...
It's profit and it's levels.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not in Conquest.
Yeah. From what I understand, Conquest is way harder.
Yes.
Because you can't do that.
Because you can't level up.
Can't grind at least.
You can't grind at least, yeah.
Yeah, so I've been playing that mostly. Been using some side characters.
Who's your favorite character?
Favorite character?
Yes.
It's a hard question. I don't think we have the same characters though. So I would say Mozu's awesome.
The villager.
The villager, because I just she's like matched the level of my main character, and she's so strong.
I hate her attack animation.
It is really annoying, but I'm sure it'll change. Her like knees shake.
Yeah, I think it changes when she like uses a master skill or whatever. Mm-hmm. But would you made her a villager?
No, that's what she is right now.
She is a villager. You haven't used like a heart sealer?
No, I'm gonna level 20 and then use the seals. No, I don't know. I like her. I also like Hannah, who is a samurai. She's like really heavily offensive. It's a swordsman.
I don't have her.
So it's like super offensive minded, kind of a glass jaw, but doesn't always get hit, so it's like not that big of a deal.
Do you have an axe fighter?
No, I have an Oni Savage, which uses clubs, which is I think the equivalent of that.
No. I didn't get a sword fighter until like past chapter 10 or 12 or something like that.
No, it's
they're my favorite. Swordsmasters are my favorite.
Dude, Swordmasters are awesome.
They're
that's what the samurai essentially are.
I know. I just got a samurai. I had a ninja, and I used a heart seal to make him a samurai, which is a big mistake.
I like the ninjas, too.
Yeah.
The shurikens are pretty sweet.
Shoryuken!
So, it's been pretty enjoyable. The romance part of it makes me feel uncomfortable.
How?
Because it puts their face on the screen, and there was, like, blushing. And,
is this when you bring them into your private quarters?
Yeah. You invite the ally, and that, like, increases their like, affinity towards you.
Yeah.
So you get, like, better stats when you're fighting together. So, like, I want to do it because I want to get the bonus in battle, but they always, like, it's, like, weird high-res on the touchscreen.
And you can move the camera, like, up and down just a little bit. In Japan, you can, like, pet them.
Yeah, I know.
So, like, in Pokemon, you can do the same thing.
Yeah.
Where, like, in the most recent Pokemon games, you can put the Pokemon on the screen, and you, like, give it food and pet it and make it like you more.
Yeah.
So they kind of took the same thing and put it in Fire Emblem, where you can, like, pet them in the Japanese version. Not in the US version. Still weird.
I don't think humans like to be pet. I don't want to be pet by a random person.
You sure? You gotta... Well, not random person, but your love interest. You got a beard.
I suppose. I don't know. This is just awkward. It just makes you feel awkward. It's a game.
Yeah.
It's like a step too far.
I don't know. You don't have to do it.
True. You're right.
The support conversations aren't bad, though.
No, the support conversations are fine. They're just like they used to be.
Do you have a butler?
Fine.
Or a maid. Aren't the maids awesome?
I don't use her.
What?
I used her like the first few missions because she has like healing spells.
Yeah.
Besides that, I haven't really used them.
Really? My maid's like my strongest character. The maid eventually gets a skill that whenever you heal somebody, she recovers that much health.
Oh wow.
Just super useful.
That is very useful.
You can fight him. You can fight people with him. Which is really clumsy. This is the most frustrating thing. Do you have a guy named Arthur? An axe fighter? No. There's a guy named Arthur on Conquest, and he is he talks very much like a superhero.
Yeah.
Because you can hear the audio. But he's very clumsy. So, like, his luck is really low, but he's an axe fighter. So just, like, he's falling all over himself all the time. He doesn't get hits very often. I'm like, this is useless. Like, I hate you. So I'm trying to make Mozu an axe fighter by pairing her up with him, so then I can use a friendship seal or something like that, which then makes her his class, and then level up to level 20 and make her a berserker, which is my favorite class. Thanks, Ross from Sacred Stones.
That'd be exciting.
It's just super hard.
Yeah, I don't have any axe fighters. I think it's fun. I'm enjoying it. I'm just like, that whole romance thing kind of turns me off to it. But
really?
But
so not
far,
from the whole game.
The story is good so far. I've enjoyed the story. I've enjoyed the gameplay, the mechanics. I thought for a while that I wouldn't like the weapon durability thing, how it's like not a thing anymore. But now it's just like I realized that was really annoying, and now I don't have to deal with it.
I don't know.
So I'm not like totally opposed to it. I'm sure like the purists out there are gonna be like, well, if it doesn't have weapon durability, then it's not real Fire Emblem.
That's what I said about Fallout.
Yeah.
Still agree.
I know you did.
I still think weapon conditions were awesome.
I suppose.
It was a fun little thing.
But it makes it more approachable to the casual gamer.
Yeah.
Which I feel like I'm a casual. I play a lot of video games, but I feel like I approach it as a casual gamer. Occasionally, I get like those little spurts where I'm like, I'm 100%ing everything. Fallout. This isn't for fun. This is for real. Like Fallout 4.
It's in real life.
This is what matters.
Yeah.
But no, Fallout was good. Fates is good. It's all good, man.
It's all good, man.
It's all good. We're just enjoying life.
I was scrolling through Netflix the other day and saw a trailer for The Ranch, which is a new Netflix original series, comedy.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That has Ashton Kutcher and Danny Masterson in it.
Right.
Formerly, from That 70s Show, Hyde and Kelso. In case you don't know who Danny Masterson is, he's Hyde.
He's the cowboy guy, right?
What?
He has a mustache.
What are you saying?
No, I'm not. Dang it. Who's the guy? In The Ranch, there's a guy with the mustache. He always has a mustache in everything he ever does. And he's in like a bunch of westerns.
I don't remember his name.
He's like the dad in the storyline.
He's the dad in the movie. Yeah. And I recognize him. I can't remember his name though. But I'm talking specifically about Ashton Kutcher and Danny Masterson.
I saw Ashton Kutcher. I don't know who the other guy is.
He's Hyde from That 70s Show. I just said that.
I don't watch That 70s Show.
You've never seen That 70s Show?
I've seen like twice. What? I don't know by their character names.
It's one of the funniest comedies of our time.
I haven't seen it.
Well, for anyone that hasn't lived under a rock, how do you watch Netflix all the time and not see That 70s Show?
I don't know. I watched The Office 3 times.
That's why.
And Parks and Rec twice.
That 70s Show.
And I'm watching...
is better.
And I watched Psych all the way through. Love Psych.
I don't know if it's better than Psych, but I would
Psych's
say...
pretty good.
It's better than The Office.
Don't even say it. The Office is the best.
No, the first couple seasons of The Office is the best. But then Michael leaves and they have all these other people and it totally ruins it.
Yes. Ha! The first 6 seasons of The Office are awesome.
Is that when he leaves after the 6th season?
I think so.
I think there's 8 seasons of That 70s Show. Anyways, That 70s Show is fantastic. Danny Masterson is in it. He's Hyde. This is not for you. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the listeners because they've actually seen it.
Because they care.
Ashton Kutcher is Kelso. They are brothers in The Ranch. And Danny Masterson is essentially just an older Hyde. So he just drinks all the time and says snarky comments. Which I guess is alright. Ashton Kutcher is still like a pretty boy, but he's like a successful pretty boy that moved back to The Ranch. So whatever happened, and then it comes out April 1st, which is like a couple days away. So I'll give it a shot. You might like it more than the average person because you don't have any recollection of That 70s Show to compare it to. But
I won't have any preconceived notions about the characters they should be playing.
That's right. You want to talk about EVE Online and what's going on there?
So currently, or recently, there was this huge, and I mean huge, like record-breaking battle in EVE Online. So for those of you who don't know, it's a space game, MMO, that's essentially spreadsheets is like the joke. But it's super realistic. By realistic, I mean you have freedom.
Freedom!
MMO where you essentially, like, it's a big sandbox. It's a giant sandbox. There's not really a real storyline. Like, the places have stories and, like, the galaxy has a story to it, but your role in all of that is whatever you want it to be. Like, it doesn't have there's no set storyline or missions you have to go through. There's no level grinding. Essentially, it's just open-ended, and the game is everything is player-driven. So the economy is they have like guilds, but they're called corporations and alliances, and essentially these alliances of players. So like anywhere from a couple hundred to like over a few, like a couple thousands. The alliances are players.
Oh,
and they can own space. Like they can own star systems. There's like 40
location.
Yes, it's all about the location. There's like I think I just read 7,500 different star systems, and about half of them can be owned by players. And so, like, there's constant battles in that space for sovereignty of these planets because you get bonuses and get like essentially resources and things.
Star power.
Yeah, star power, and just like rep, like you get the rep on the streets. Like, look at all our space.
That's street cred.
So
that's what's up.
Apparently, what happened? There's been some drama, and the last time there was a battle this big, it broke records. 2 years ago, it's called the Battle of BR5RB, which is the name of the system where it happened.
Could they not have named it something better than
that? No, they can't, because it's nullsec, and they keep adding to it. So like the part of the galaxy that has a story has like system names.
Yeah.
But then outside of let's call it the...
They can't just call this the Great War?
No.
Why?
They can't, because there's been other wars before this.
But this is the biggest... This is the biggest one.
Until now.
So why don't they call it the Great War and then the Great War 2?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say. These are pretty specific. But
am I right?
The previous record was 21 hours of continual fighting between 6,000 different players in the same system on the same server with a max of 2,600 on at the same time. So because it's 21 hours, like EVE is an international thing.
Okay.
It's based out of Iceland. There's a lot of European players and American players.
Okay.
And so a lot of times what happens is people will log in at different times and like they'll take over the mantle of like fighting a battle or doing something.
So does that mean that if a European is playing, they withdraw their ship and an American puts their ship in?
I mean, they could, or they both could log in and it would overlap for a little bit. And that's fine. Like they have their own ships. It's not like you like log in as your friend, but
yeah.
I mean you could. But either way, huge battles. Apparently that broke records, and the max was 2,600 at once. They just broke that this week in MOE8 with
Great War number 2.
3,400 players, all fighting in the same system, shooting guns and pew-pewing at each other.
Okay, so to give
space explosions.
To give context to that, if you're playing Call of Duty, there's only 16 players on a map.
Right.
There's 8 players on your team, 8 players on the other team.
Right.
You're saying that there's 3,400 players all on the same map?
Yeah.
Fighting each other?
Yes. Literally on the same screen.
With ships.
With ships and blasters and missiles and drones and
so that's a lot. That's
crazy stuff. Yeah. And EVE is kind of like real life in a lot of ways.
How many players do you think EVE has online right now? Just in general, an average?
Probably like 40,000. 40 to 50,000.
So a good amount of them is actually in this battle.
Yeah.
If you were playing online, would you go to this battle?
No. Unless I was a part of one of the alliances, which I've been in fleet battles before.
So there's 2 people fighting right now. It's like the Bloods versus the Crips.
Essentially. Because all that sovereignty space where you can like fight over that's player owned, there's like drama going on. There's like spies and people like sneak into other people's groups. And the drama that started this is twofold. Essentially, CCP, the company that makes EVE, changed the way that alliances can have sovereignty to make it easier to steal sovereignty from somebody else. And then also, the leader of one of the alliances, his name is the Mittani. He this is so dumb, but he was like a part of the last huge war.
The Last of Us.
And he wanted to publish a book about it. Okay. And so he started a Kickstarter for it. And then the Reddit page for EVE got really mad at him because he was like trying to monetize his alliance members and the people in EVE to try and like make this book.
Oh yeah.
And so a bunch of his like higher level staff in the alliance like quit and went to other alliances.
Oh.
Then the EVE page of Reddit kicked off all the Imperium members, which is like about 2,000 players. They're not allowed to be on the Reddit page anymore or post on it. And so there's this huge battle now between essentially the Imperium, which is the one with the Mittani guy who tried to write the book, and this other group that's like paying all these alliances to fight the Imperium.
Real US dollars?
No, well, EVE money.
EVE dollars.
EVE money, given ISK. So it's pretty interesting. I mean, that's what starts the whole thing. And it's always like in the past, it's been because of spies. Like, there's this huge, like, in the past, this group called the Goon Swarm Alliance. Goon Swarm, like, you laugh, but Goon Swarm is, like, nasty business. You know what's a Goon Swarm?
Who?
They had, like, their leader, like, swindled the entire alliance because he had, like, access to all their money. He took, like, trillions of ISK and just, like, quit the alliance and, like, ran with all his money.
You put all your money into like a general bank that someone runs? No. How did he get this money?
Well, it depends. Like, corporations have a CEO, so like a guild would have a guild leader.
Okay.
And the corporation can set a tax rate, and anytime you generate money in the game through piracy, through like trade transactions or whatever.
You mean in-game piracy, like...
Yeah.
Like the old pirates, not like downloading movies.
Right. It's like old pirates. You can be like an old style pirate. You can like put up people for ransom, like go gank people and like do whatever you want. Essentially corporates can have taxes which then go into a corporate account. Well, alliances can do that too. For the entire alliance, and then also they can get money from the corporation.
So they get taxes from their members.
Yeah.
But then how would this goon squad guy get that money?
Well, when you're the CEO, you have access to all of the corporation assets, and he can like decide who else has access to that, but he just like had access to it, and he was like tired of the game or something, so he stole all the money, started a new account, transferred it to the new account, and then nobody knew who he was.
So he worked hard to become the CEO, then betrayed his company?
Essentially.
And he's a spy?
Well, I mean, he was the leader for a while, and then he quit. But there's been spies, too, where, like, one corporation would have, like, send somebody as a new account or, like, buy... Or they're even, like, buy with money, like dollars, US dollars. Like, they'll buy an account of somebody who's, like, quitting the game. Because I've had friends who sold their accounts before.
Yes.
And they'll use that account to be a spy, and they'll, like, try and join the ranks of their enemy alliance. And then they'll get in there, and they'll get all the communiques and, like, the emails and, like, the mobilizations for invasions and stuff. Like, they'll know because they're part of the alliance. So there's, like, all this crazy stuff. Like, it's like real-life politics between countries, but with a video game. And people take it super seriously, too. Like, when you join an alliance, you have to, like, do all this, like, personal ID verification stuff. It's like in real life. Like, people will take it super seriously.
Like driver's license number.
No, but they'll make you...
Facebook.
You have, like, a unique PIN that CCP, the company who makes it, gives your character. And you have to, like, essentially get it approved and checked. And they can, like... You give them access to view all of your goods and, like, your account history with, like, Eve. And they can see, like, how many accounts you've owned. And, like, it's, like, crazy how... That's weird. Not all of them do it, but, like, the really serious big ones do. They make sure that you are, like, legit.
This doesn't make me want to play Eve anymore.
But it's super crazy cool. You can, like, build spaceships and stations and go invade space and own it. And...
You think this will happen in No Man's Sky?
No. No Man's Sky is nothing like Eve.
Okay.
From what I understand. But no, Eve's crazy. Eve ruined every MMO for me. I can't play other MMOs now. I played that game. I played Eve on and off since I was in middle school. So it's been like...
Quite some time.
Close to 10 years. Since I started. Which is really funny because my character looks like my character's really good because he's so old. Like they have a predicted like amount of money and like skill points that I would have. But I've played on and off, so I have like a third of what it says I should have.
So now that your PC is back up and running, are you going to play Eve?
Not right now. I don't have time right now.
Are you going to finish Uncharted?
Yes. I am.
You stopped playing for a long time.
It's been like 2 weeks. I'm taking a little break. I played through 2.5 games of Uncharted.
It is easy to get burnt out when you play so much.
Yep. So I'm just taking a break, playing Fallout 4, playing Fates, playing Medieval Total War 2.
Have you seen the new Lego Batman trailer?
We watched it together, actually.
So yes?
Yes! It is funny.
Have you seen both of them?
Yes.
Because we watched them together.
Have you seen both of them?
Yes.
Oh, wow. It's like we watched them together.
All right. So...
Oh, my gosh.
Off the coattails of Batman vs. Superman, Lego Batman, they're making a Lego Batman movie.
Yeah.
I assume by the same producers that made the Lego movie, which was an incredible success. It does look funny.
It legitimately looks funny. Yeah. We laughed a few times, actually.
We laughed out loud. We LOL'd. There was the... I can't remember his name all of a sudden. Will Arnett is the same Batman voice. Michael Cera is going to be Robin's voice. They didn't get Mark Hamill to be the Joker. They got Zach Galifianakis to be the Joker.
Which is weird.
Which is weird. It is weird. But I guess...
But
I don't know.
It sounded fine to me.
Yeah. There was 2 trailers. We watched one which like introduced the movie and the story. And we watched the second one which was an interaction between Batman and Alfred, which was hilarious.
Which was really good.
Which was super funny.
But it's funny like once or twice, but it probably won't be funny.
Yeah, it's like Lego movie funny. The other one was like action movie type thing, just in Lego form.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't remember seeing a release date for this, but we know that Justice League is coming out soon. Well, not soon. In a couple years. We know it's being directed by Zack Snyder. Do you think this Lego Batman will be better than Justice League? Because this Lego Batman is Lego Batman / Justice League. Because it's going to have everybody in it. And villains. Like Lex Luthor and the Joker. And I'm sure like Doomsday will be there. Because now he's famous, I guess.
Right now, I mean, if I can give a little preview for our thoughts about Batman v Superman. If Justice League is going to be like Batman versus Superman, then I would rather go see Lego Batman than Justice League.
Is that just because Lego Batman's funnier?
Yeah.
And
because I think I'll enjoy my time more.
Yeah.
I'll be less confused.
Yeah.
Like what are they thinking right now? I thought that multiple times.
So are we going to our Batman v Superman talk?
I think it is time.
I think it's time.
Though on our recording software, it doesn't give us the time anymore.
Who knows what time it is?
I don't know what time it is.
Let's just go.
I'm so disoriented. So, Batman v Superman.
Batman v Superman, we saw it
pre-spoilers?
Came out.
Pre-spoilers right now?
I don't care.
Okay, pre-spoilers.
Pre-spoilers, we can talk about box office. How does that sound?
Yeah, let's do that. And I mean, general rating, I'd give it like a 5 out of 10.
Dang.
Just impression.
Reviews first came in, were good. Then, right before we saw the movie, they were very, very bad.
Yes.
And now, they're split down the middle.
They're like mediocre in the 70s now.
There's, Rotten Tomatoes give it like a 43% or something like that, or 38%. Yeah. But now, like, movie critics are saying it's awful.
Yeah.
Comic book fans are saying it's
bearable.
Good, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about box office numbers, because these let's do that. Frustrating.
We were a little bit ticked off. We're Marvel fanboys, so take everything we say with a grain of salt. Though I do like Batman.
I like The Flash on TV.
I do. I like the Green Arrow too.
I just like good shows. How's that sound? I'm a good show. I'm a good movie connoisseur.
I suppose.
Sorry, DC, for making bad movies all the time.
Yeah.
We could compare Marvel movies versus DC movies and see which one has
I think they're just objectively better
selection of movies.
I think they just get better directors.
I mean, when you have Disney backing you, it's easier than when you have like Warner Brothers backing you.
That's true.
And Warner Brothers is huge.
It is huge.
But Disney
is... but Disney. So,
anyway.
There's that.
So the weekend numbers for Batman v Superman broke a whole bunch of records, which is stupid. It made $170.1 million Thursday through Sunday, domestically. So not internationally. Which beats the all-time record of Warner Brothers. The previous record was Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Mm-hmm. It beat that by literally just $1 million. Which sounds like a lot when we talk about movies.
$1 million is chump change in movies.
It beat Hunger Games, the original Hunger Games, for the best March opening of all time, and was way above Furious 7 for the best Easter weekend opening in history.
Now, is that adjusted for inflation?
Furious 7 was not that long ago.
Yeah, I mean, some of those, I think it's close enough that it would matter, but like...
Well,
the Hunger Games has been out for like 6 or 7 years, so like...
I mean, I assume it's not going to get $2 million extra in whatever that we just said it was. Inflation.
Perhaps.
Either way, these are records that people are talking about and saying that it broke all these records.
Yeah.
But these records are best Warner Brothers opening, best March opening, and best Easter weekend opening.
Which aren't necessarily... Those aren't like the most trafficked week of movie going.
It's like when you're looking for records to break, you're just like, oh, this is one.
Yeah, it's like when you watch sports. When you watch sport, like I was watching a basketball game yesterday, and they were like, something random happened. They're like, this is only the third time in history that on a player's birthday they get a triple double. I was like, how like far down into the bucket do you have to scrape to get these stats? Like, why do people care about these stats?
Right.
It's like that's what they're doing right now.
It did beat The Dark Knight Rises to become the best debut for DC Comics movie.
Ugh.
Dark Knight Rises made $160.9 million. Again, Batman v Superman made $170.1 million.
But I enjoyed Dark Knight Rises so much more.
Dark Knight was much better. It did not do as well.
All right, wait. Is it comparing to Dark Knight Rises or Dark Knight? Because
the Dark Knight Rises.
I would take both of those over the movie we watched.
The Dark Knight Rises. It says. It exceeded The Dark Knight Rises to become the best debut for the DC Comics movie.
Yeah, see, I would...
So I think that means it beat The Dark Knight.
Maybe.
If it's now the best debut for a DC Comics movie.
I suppose.
I don't know, Batman...
Well, Dark Knight Rises is the third one.
Yes.
Right? The Dark Knight is the second.
Yes.
And then Batman Begins is the first one.
Yes.
So it beat the third one.
Yes.
See, that's so dumb. I hate it.
Worldwide, Batman v Superman has now made $424 million... Beating...
Don't even say it!
Beating the Avengers in 2012, which took in $392.5 million.
I love the Avengers.
The Avengers still holds the U.S. opening weekend record. However, finally, Batman v Superman is now the fourth biggest global opening ever. How frustrating is that?
It's so... it's not even that great. Like, it's not spectacular.
It's not the Avengers. Like... We just recently recorded a movie about the best comic movie of all time. Granted,
podcast.
That was before... What?
You said we recorded a movie about it.
Whatever. That was before this movie came out. But if we were to put an addendum in and a tribute Batman v Superman to that list, do you still think we come out with the best movie?
I mean,
do you think our decision would have changed?
No.
No, exactly.
Because I mean, if I recall right, our criteria were box office success, which we would probably have to mention it then, but also pure awesomeness,
rating, and pure awesome
critic review, right? Or like ratings,
something like that.
So it's like,
do you think so many people saw Batman v Superman? Why? I don't understand. Because ratings are bad and people are like, I don't care about ratings, I want to see it for myself.
Right.
Or two, because they saw the trailers and they're like, well, there has to be more than this, so they have to go see it.
I mean, I talked to a lot of people who, both at my school and then also people on Easter, who were like, I haven't seen it yet. They asked me if I'd seen it, and they all know that I do podcasts and that I watch all this stuff when I can.
Internet famous.
I'm internet famous now, so they were like, what'd you think? I was like, do you really want to know? They're like, yeah. And I was like, 5 out of 10. They're like, what?
Yeah.
They're like, I gotta go see it for myself anyway.
Yeah.
And they were like, I heard it had bad reviews, but you know what? I want to know who wins, Batman or Superman. And I was like, seriously? Like, you're just like giving them money.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, we did, I guess, but I don't know.
However,
so bad.
I bought my tickets at Costco, so I give them less money than you did.
That's true. I only went because you invited me.
That's right.
Because we're friends.
You were going to go anyway. You even said you were...
I was thinking about it.
However, in a little bit over a month, Captain America Civil War is coming out. Do you think, you're going to call it right now, is Civil War going to eclipse Batman v Superman in money earned?
Money earned.
Yes.
Yes. Because...
Is that a hard yes?
That was a soft yes.
Oh.
Because... I was just talking to you about this before. Like, when it comes to comic books, the two most recognizable names are Batman and Superman.
In general.
Like, right, in general.
Yes.
Right, because they're not going... Like, the success of this could be broader than the comic book, like, people. The people who care about comic books are going to go see all the comic book movies.
Yeah.
So, when it comes to, like, getting more people to go to the movies, I think Batman v Superman has an advantage because the names are so recognizable. Like, Marvel Civil War, like, my grandma doesn't know who what does that mean?
But
my grandma does know who Batman and Superman are, and she might be like, oh, well, let's go over there, whippersnappers, and go to a retirement club. Like, they might do that.
That's how your mom talks.
Nah, it's not at all. My grandma's way more hip than that. She'd be like, what's up, fool? Let's go see that movie.
That is a good argument. However, Iron Man and Captain America have been much more popular as of late.
True.
Based on...
pop culture, they're huge.
Yeah.
And they've been doing crazy marketing.
Yes.
The Team Cap and Team Iron Man, which they started at the Super Bowl.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, at the Super Bowl, they had like a commercial and had people like tweet.
Whose side you're on?
Yeah, whose side you're on. And they like started that movement.
Which,
it's like everywhere.
For your information, listeners, is not Team Technology versus Team Patriotism. It's much more than that. And it's so frustrating when I saw videos online and people are like, I'm Team Iron Man because I like technology more than I like someone that's just really strong. I'm like, shut up! It's much more than that. It's frustrating.
Hashtag Team Iron Man.
But not because of technology.
No, because he's my dude.
Yeah, because he's your dude. And it's not just because I like technology more than I like punching people in the face.
It's because he's got a chest cannon. Gosh. It's because he's got a chest cannon. And he looks shiny in his metal suit.
It's not
He's so smart.
Iron Man versus Captain America. It is an idea versus another idea. It's bigger than both of them. So frustrating when people personalize it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Gosh.
Whatever.
Anyway, Captain America Civil War better do better than this. Otherwise,
you gotta know,
so ticked.
When that movie comes out, we're gonna have a special episode just dedicated to that. And I'm sure we're gonna argue so much about Iron Man specifically,
as we always do.
It's a tradition. Channing Tatum, Iron Man.
Of traditions.
What else? Is it that time?
It's that time. We'll come back to Batman v Superman after we do this tradition.
Our favorite segment of the show that we never plan and just happens. Where
Tell about
is Destiny on Twitch? That's our theme song now. We're going to have to come up with one. So every show we try to decide...
It's 13.
I know. I just saw that.
Why is it so high?
We like to watch the demise of Destiny because we spent so many hours on that game, and now when we look back, we think, why did we do that?
Are you going to buy Destiny 2?
I don't know. Like, I'm open to it, But it better have more content than the first one.
I kind of hope Destiny 1. The reason we like Destiny to fail is because there are so many promises they promised us, so many things they were going to do, and then they didn't do it.
It just seemed like they didn't deliver on so many things.
Yeah. So we want to see them fail, so that way they can make a better game next time.
Right.
Essentially, is what's behind us. It is on Twitch on viewers. It is number 13. It has 9,500 viewers.
Last time we looked, it was like 30th or something.
Yeah.
So there it is. Moving up the ranks.
So frustrating.
It definitely still has a pretty big following. People still grinding their lives away. I mean, I don't even know how many hours I put on the game.
It's behind RuneScape.
At least 200.
It's behind UFC 2, like I guess just came out.
True. RuneScape, though, has been out forever, so...
Yeah,
suck it. Always that. Smite.
It's above Minecraft, surprisingly. Minecraft isn't as popular as it used to be.
I know, it used to be huge. I think it's dying out. I don't know. It's like a slow fade, though. And I think it'll always have like some amount of following.
We can watch this giant battle, I bet.
Dude, I bet that's it right there.
MOEE8?
Yep, that's it. 2,500 people watching.
I won't watch that because I have no idea.
You'll see lots of pretty spaceships blowing each other up.
I don't understand it. Anyway, back to Batman vs. Superman.
Yeah, so essentially, 5 out of 10 for me. What'd you think overall, Tony, without spoilers?
Overall?
Yeah. What would you give it? You don't have to do 1 to 10.
I didn't see...
I did out of 10. You could do food or...
I didn't see Man of Steel because I don't like Superman to begin with.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a 2.5 hour movie.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember how many fight scenes were in it? Action scenes?
The second half of the movie.
There's Batman v Superman, obviously, when they fight, there's an action scene.
Yeah.
There's the big final fight with Doomsday, which isn't a spoiler because it's in the
trailers, right.
So that's a fight scene. There's the beginning action scene where you see...
I mean, there's the dream sequences, which...
Does that? I don't...
I mean, there's really fight scenes. So there's like the intro.
So there's like the intro, and there's that's maybe 5 when Batman's chasing down those people in the Batmobile.
Yeah.
That's not very many for a 2.5 hour movie.
It wasn't. There was a lot of downtime.
There's a lot of crap.
And...
A lot of crap!
So are you giving it the review of it was crap?
Yes.
Tony's official ruling.
Crap.
It was crap.
Craptastic.
Craptastic. I can see it now. Like, you know how movies and stuff have like ratings in the front? 5 out of 10. Craptastic. Underpaid Gamers Podcast. That's our review. So overall, I mean...
That's the thumbnail.
Generally disappointing. I would say few redeeming qualities that make it not a complete, utter failure. Mm-hmm. But most of that's just due to the fact that they had a lot of money to spend, so...
We've been... Every once in a while, we make political jokes on this podcast. I'm going to make another one.
Okay, go for it.
Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice is equivalent to Trump. Where on the subtitle of this article is critic reviews can't stop Dawn of Justice from breaking records.
It's like Donald Trump.
Everyone hates Donald Trump, but he's doing so many crazy things all of a sudden.
That's exactly what
this is the Donald Trump of comic book movies.
Yeah, and nobody that I actually know and talk to like Donald Trump. Just like nobody I know and I've talked to has actually liked the movie.
Batman versus Superman.
It's all been like, yeah, I went and saw it. But it was very good. That's what I've heard all
I've listened to 2 reviews.
Yeah.
One of them was Drifter on YouTube, who does Call of Duty videos and claims to be a comic book fan. He said he really liked it.
Yeah.
I think he's an idiot.
Really?
There's another review that I put much more emphasis on. It's another podcast, and they're people I go to for all my comic book news and movie news, and they toured a new one. So I'm like, finally, someone that relates.
Right.
Someone I can relate to. I don't know what to think of this movie. I think I was telling people at work, they asked me how it was. I said, if I could watch it again, I would, because I would go in with a different mindset.
Right. And I'll probably watch it when it comes out of Redbox. Like,
I'd probably
if somebody wanted to, like, if it was on like Netflix or something, like I'd watch it again. Just like I watch Green Lantern still sometimes, or like the original Thor movie. Like,
I haven't seen that.
Not really that great.
I have seen that. I haven't seen Dark World.
It's a comic movie, so I like the genre. So I'll watch the crappy one sometimes.
I've been watching a lot of movies recently, comic book movies. I've been watching Avengers 2, Avengers, the original Captain America, a whole bunch of stuff. However, the reason I would go back and watch this, and I think I would have a different take on it if I went back and knew there's going to be so many dream sequences. If I could understand everything that was happening the first time I watched it, I'd be like, okay, this is not so bad of a movie. But it's all over the place. The pacing's all over the place. So many different things are happening, and I just don't understand. There's dream sequences within dream sequences. I leaned over to you and said Inception. and you laughed in the movie.
I did laugh at that.
There's just...
I don't know.
Ooh,
you ready for the spoiler section?
Let's do it. I'm ready.
I'm ready. Okay.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Listen, spoilers.
All right, so
tell me
biggest concern
what happens in this story.
Pros and cons.
Let it out.
Okay.
Let the listeners know what happens chronologically, story mode.
So, from what I understand,
yes,
from what I remember, I've been fighting my subconscious from blocking this out.
Yeah, it's really hard. I would have to watch it.
What happens?
To be more familiar.
Is it kind of does some flashbacks to Man of Steel in the very beginning, where Bruce Wayne is in Metropolis.
Wasn't that sick though?
I mean, there's some cool
the movie started off incredible.
Yeah,
seeing the Batman versus Zod fight from Bruce Wayne's perspective.
Yeah.
Yes, the Superman versus Zod fight from Bruce Wayne's perspective was incredible, and it set my sights super high for this movie. I'm like, this is one of the coolest things.
And that's the thing. The whole movie has a lot of moments that you're like, wow, that could have been really cool.
And it was
all the connections between those things failed.
That specific scene was probably my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah.
It was the very first 5 minutes.
It was really cool.
Which was still so sick.
Yeah.
I would love to see that. I would love to see the battle in Avengers from Daredevil's perspective.
Dude, that would be sick.
So sick.
Well, I guess here
I would like
from
to
his
see,
perspective. So
that's a good joke.
Starts with Bruce Wayne, frantically driving to the Wayne Tower in Metropolis, trying to save his employees. He's on the phone with one of the presidents, right? He's there's some CEO.
Yeah, get everybody out. And was that what he was trying to do?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell.
Yeah,
because I'm
he was trying to get to the tower to go get people out. I think. Yeah.
I figured there was something more behind it, but I guess that was essentially it.
I mean, that's what it seemed like to me. Yeah. I don't know if there's another motive, but he gets there, and you see it in the trailer, the thing falls.
Yeah.
And so he goes, he saves a girl from getting crushed, but there's a character, one of the guys he pulls out from the rubble is a character who comes back later on in the story, but essentially he sees this huge destructive power of the Man of Steel and Zod and the alien technology that's in the end of the movie. If you see Man of Steel, it shows everything. So if you haven't seen it, I have it if you want to borrow it.
I don't.
That's fine. I mean, you got the whole fight scene at the end, so...
It's probably the only action scene in that whole movie, isn't it?
No, there's actually a lot of action, but...
In Man of Steel?
In the second half. First half's really slow, but then it,
Why do they always do that?
That's what they do. So he sees that, kind of, not feeling good about him, about Superman at that point.
I'm a little queasy.
Getting a little tipsy. That's the wrong word.
Not...
Queasy.
Drunk on Superman.
Drunk
on love.
So there's that.
Little queasy.
And kind of what happens is Batman is old in this. He's been doing it for 20 or 30 years.
I think the official is 20 years.
Yeah, he's been doing it for decades. Robin is dead.
Yes.
And all we know is there's the Robin suit with ha 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 jokes on you, Batman, and so something tragic happened. You kind of get the picture that Batman is jaded about everything at this point. He's seen it all. There's quotes where he's like, "Man, you just pluck one weed and another one takes his place." Talking about the criminals.
This movie is based off of The Dark Knight Returns, that comic book.
Okay.
The Joker riding on Robin's suit is based off of a death in the family. So Robin's dead. So. And this is based off The Dark Knight Returns, which is one of the reasons why so many comic book fans like this movie, is because they're like, this is based off a comic book that I read, so this is super cool. But it doesn't make any sense why people that haven't read that comic like this movie. Go on.
So he's kind of jaded. So it kind of it makes sense to an extent why he doesn't like Superman, because from his perspective, it seems like he has way too much power for what, and he has there's no control. There's nothing that can stop Superman from doing whatever. And from his perspective, it seems like Superman does whatever he wants.
Yeah.
He also goes through all these dreams of craziness where Superman's taking over stuff, and so he's fear. He has all this fear about Superman. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of some motivation behind it. Now, the part that could have been really good, but failed to be good, was Lex Luthor's role in all of this.
Okay.
Because Lex Luthor, in the grand scheme of the story, is the mastermind who puts together the situation that makes Batman hate Superman.
Okay.
Like, everything in the movie is supposed to be, like, mastermind by Lex Luthor to get Batman to kill Superman. Or Superman to kill Batman. Like, either way, he's killing off somebody.
Yeah.
But they don't pull it together at all. Like, they have the whole ending scene where Lex essentially figures out who Superman is, figures out his mom, figures out who Batman is.
Martha.
Figures out, like, essentially everybody's secret identity,
yes.
how to get them all into their place, and there's no explanation at all of how he figured that out.
How he got there.
It's just like, hi Clark, how's it going? Like, seriously, you've had the first half of the movie to, like, show some, like, evil mastermind way for him to figure out and, like, put all these dots in a row, and it just, like, randomly happens.
Yeah.
And so, like
you don't even look at this Lex Luthor as being, like, a super genius.
Right, because it doesn't give you enough of him.
It doesn't give you a reason. Because even when he made Doomsday, it wasn't super genius of him.
Right. They don't set it up at all. It just happened. Like, it happens. Most of the story building takes place with Ben Affleck as Batman, which I thought he did all right for, like, old Batman.
Yeah, I want to know.
I thought he did all right.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it for a second. How do you think about Ben Affleck as Batman?
I thought he did all right. I don't think he's as good as Christian Bale as Batman. But definitely different styles.
Well, let's break it down. Why do you like Christian Bale as Batman? Okay, before that, remember that?
That's a big question.
That montage scene where he's lifting weights and doing everything?
Yeah.
Did you see his bicep?
Dude, they were huge.
He's ripped.
Dude, he got ripped.
It's not even ripped. It's more like he's a boulder.
Yeah.
Like, Ben Affleck got huge for this.
He did.
But impressive. I do want to know why you like Christian Bale as Batman, and I want to know why you like Ben Affleck as Batman. I want to know what the differences are.
So, I would say the main difference is that the Batman we see in the Dark Knight trilogy is, I would say, more passionate and more, like, in the moment.
More passionate
and, like,
about what?
Like, in terms of, like, what he does, I feel like, I keep going back to the word jaded with the older, like, with Ben Affleck Batman.
Okay.
Because it just, and I think Ben Affleck did a good job of giving off the idea that he's just, like, pessimistic and jaded and has been scarred and has seen it all and doesn't have any faith in humanity.
Yeah.
And the Batman in the Dark Knight trilogy is the opposite. He's like, the people need a symbol, right? Like, they need a symbol. There's, like, hope, and, like, I'll be the bad guy if that's what brings about the best thing. Like, it's more, as Batman, but, like, slightly more optimistic version of Batman with Christian Bale. Also, he's a newer Batman. Like, you see Batman become Batman in this.
Yeah.
So, it would make sense. He's the beginning of his career versus the end of his career. You can kind of see a difference in the way that they approach things. And I think Christian Bale does a good job of, like, bringing the intensity of Batman and also not, like, shooting guns at people, because that happened in the new one. I didn't like that. I guess he shoots the little explosion gun in Dark Knight where it, like, explodes the tower things, but that doesn't really catch. It's more of a gadget.
I don't remember that.
Like the timed explosions when he, like, he's in, like, Korea or Japan or something, and he, like, blows out the tower floor. I can't remember. He doesn't shoot anybody.
Christian Bale kills the guy in the beginning of Batman Begins. Ra's al Ghul.
Well, no.
No, you can't. No, you can't say if Batman as a superhero has the ability to save somebody.
Yeah,
it is his responsibility to save somebody. Okay. You can't say where he says, "I don't have to save you." That is killing him. That's like saying in the Batman vs Superman when he brands somebody, knowing that when he goes to jail, he's gonna die. That's not saying, "Oh, I didn't kill him." That's the from what I heard was this is the playground defense. Where you're like, if I swing, I didn't punch you. I'm just swinging my arms, and if I walk towards you and you get hit, it's your fault.
See, but the difference is Ra's al Ghul in The Dark Knight or in Batman Begins brings about that situation. He, like, confronts Batman on the train, and he put the train in motion with the big.
Literally,
he does.
Yeah, but what would happen if there was a street mugging, and the street mugger had a gun to somebody, and somehow the other person got the gun away? And Batman saw that the victim was going to shoot the street mugger. Yeah. Would Batman be like, "Go ahead, shoot him"?
Well, that's different because that's like an innocent person.
What's an innocent person? The street mugger?
No, the person. I thought what you just said was like some random innocent dude gets mugged by a mugger. The innocent dude grabs the mugger's gun.
Yes. And
is about to shoot the mugger.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Batman's there. Does Batman just let it happen and it's
Oh, no,
not his responsibility.
But the innocent dude was an innocent dude who just got mugged. And the mugger's not trying to kill the whole city. And it's not Ra's al Ghul, who's his trainer, the person who brought about all the stuff, and is mastermindedly evil.
So it just depends on the
level of offense.
The level of offense.
But even with the Dark Knight trilogy, that's one example. And also, if we apply that mentality, then Batman kills lots of people because he leaves them broken in the streets all the time.
Yeah, we've agreed that Batman kills people all the time.
Okay, so you don't see any difference between
not saying
Batman and Batman v Superman?
I'm just bringing up a different perspective.
I suppose.
He does kill people in Batman v Superman all the time. And I guess...
he kills maybe one person.
The Dark Knight... that's one example.
Okay.
I'm sure I could find more.
Okay.
But I did not. In The Dark Knight Returns, in the comic book, he kills people all the time.
Does he?
With guns and stuff.
So it fits the comic books then, what we saw?
Yeah.
Okay. That's where I was confused, because I haven't read this comic, so I don't know. But... I
think so. I don't think he kills people with guns, but I think he kills people.
What?
And in the past movie, he kills people all the time. Literally all the time. There's a theory that this is an extension of the Tim Burton Batman.
Really?
Because he killed people all the time in Tim Burton's Batman. This is about 20 years later.
Yeah.
So if he was older now, it's possible. That's a fan theory.
So what did you think of Ben Affleck's Batman?
I like Ben Affleck's Batman.
Why?
It's very hard. Well, I think he did the brooding Bat very well. I also think there was the room clearing scene at the very end. I think Lois Lane is there or someone's there.
His mom.
He's trying to save someone's mom.
Yeah, Superman's mom.
Oh yeah, that's right. He's trying to save Superman's mom, Martha Kent.
Yeah.
And he clears that whole room by himself, which I think is a pretty good fight scene.
And he takes a hit too in that, right?
He gets his batsuit is bulletproof.
Yeah.
How do you feel about his batsuit? Just the regular one.
I thought it looked pretty cool.
It was patchwatch all over the place. He had been working on it.
It was carbon fiber too.
Yeah, it had, sick.
The textile part of it was really cool.
I thought that was a sick batsuit.
Yeah, I thought it was good too. Especially, it was definitely different than the Dark Knight suits. Yes. Which I liked. I liked that it was different, and it still looked cool.
It looked very cool. I really liked it.
Yeah.
I think I really like Ben Affleck as Batman. I really like Ben Affleck in general, so I'm biased, but I think he did a good Batman. It's very hard to judge his role in this movie versus his role in the Dark Knight trilogy. Because one, there's 3 movies combined to you could say this is half of them.
And there's no setup in this for Batman, really.
This is half a movie.
There's a scene
where you can see him.
Right. No, I was impressed with Ben Affleck.
So I would say the second half of this movie is, or at least if we split the movie into thirds, the middle third is Batman centered.
Yes.
And I was very much more interested in the Batman side than the Superman side.
Yeah, me too.
I'm super excited for a Batman solo movie featuring Ben Affleck, especially since
already happen.
Yes,
I
think so. Especially since I already know that he's planning on killing people, unless I go back in time. But if I would have known that when I went into the movie, I would have thought differently of this movie.
Yeah.
If I would have had that thought, but...
I would... If we're rating it by, half of the movie or a third of the movie, if we do half, I would rate the first half, a 3 out of 10 or a 2 out of 10.
The first half was so bad. And
then the second half, a 7 out of 10. Because it was the action was good. I liked some of the things they did. I was happy with the fact that they didn't try and explain Wonder Woman. They didn't need to. I don't want them to go into a huge backstory with her. It's Wonder Woman. She'll get her own movie.
She is getting her own movie.
People recognize Wonder Woman. She's been around in American culture for decades. People know who she is.
Yeah.
I thought it was fine that she just was in there. People understood that it was her, and then when the fight scene came, she showed up, and it was cool.
The origin of Batman was in this movie. Very quick. It was right at the beginning. That was lifted directly from the comics.
Really?
Specifically the scene where his parents get murdered and the pearls are
around the gun.
That's literally just straight from the comics. So there's a lot of scenes in this movie and a lot of dialogue that's lifted directly from pages in the comics.
Yeah.
Which is very cool, and I like that.
Yeah.
And since I've read, to go off topic, but since I've read Civil War twice now, I'm excited to see that in Marvel.
Yeah.
In Civil War. This movie started off so strong with seeing Bruce Wayne's perspective of the Superman fight.
Yeah.
And then it lost me in the funeral scene for his parents. And those are kind of happening concurrently, I believe.
Yeah.
Where he falls into the well and he's lifted up by bats. Yeah. And that's the first dream sequence, the first fantasy sequence. Mm-hmm. And it's not really explained. And there's 6 more fantasy dream sequences throughout. I'm
yeah. Ugh. I kind of get the picture of what they were trying to do, right? They're trying to give us an entire origin story. in a fifth of time.
Yeah.
And they did that through a lot of these dream sequences, kind of giving us the mindset of Batman. But I just didn't feel like the whole first half of the movie was very cohesive. It just kind of felt like a bunch of individual scenes that didn't really tie into the greater narrative. Which is why I wish they would have done more with Lex Luthor figuring all this out and the connections. But I just, like, there wasn't a whole lot of connections. It was just like random scene to random scene. Then it was like Batman's story for a while. And then Batman vs. Superman. And then, oh, let's get over it. Let's go fight this other thing.
Yeah.
Like, that enemy is awesome. Doomsday is awesome.
Why?
I mean, I have like no experience with Doomsday before this movie. And
that podcast we did where I talked about Doomsday.
Right, I know. But this is like, I haven't read any comic books about it. I haven't watched any movies with him.
Yeah.
So watching him on the screen with that huge of a budget looked really nice visually. But then also just like the fact that his power was like what you said and what we know now.
His power is he's indestructible,
and he's just like
almost indestructible. But if there's something that kills him, he's like immediately reborn and is immune to that thing that killed him.
Right.
And that goes on and on and on, which is why his like electromagnetic like nuclear force wave is what keeps happening. That's like him being reborn, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the future of this series for a second. I have other things to talk about, but Batman, there's the joke's on you on Robin's suit.
Yeah.
Which I think is another thing that he can be like, okay, Batman kills people now. Because Robin has been killed. He's been doing this for 20 years. Things have not been getting better.
Right.
He's more brutal now. I think the fight scenes in this were better than the fight scenes in the Dark Knight trilogy.
I don't know. I feel like it's a pretty... I mean...
The Batman fight scenes
feels kind of like subjective, I guess. So Batman, do you mean like fighting the criminals or fighting...
There was that one scene where Batman takes a guy and like lifts him over his head and smacks his face into the ground. Do you remember that?
Pretty sick.
Like, that's sick.
Maybe more brutal. I don't know, I like to fight. I do like the fighting in the Dark Knight a lot.
This Batman is very different from any Batman we've seen before.
It is very different because, like, and he does use the shadows. Because I was going to say, like, the Batman from the Dark Knight, like, uses a lot of like tricks and like sneakiness. Though he does do some hand fighting and up close and personal. But like a lot of the ways he does it is through stealth and things. And this Batman is
manipulation.
And this one's like, I'm going to just like bust through this side of the wall and just like fight all you guys.
Right,
like,
which he does,
which is really cool. So definitely different fighting styles. This one, more brutal.
Yeah,
I can see that.
If Robin is dead, and I'm not giving Batman a pass to kill people, but like he's seen some stuff, he's lived some stuff. He's just getting tired. He just is trying to get rid of people now. It's like these guys are repeat offenders. It's clear that I'm going to kill people. That's one of Superman's motivations for fighting him. Is that he's hurting people. Well,
he sees
even not really, because Lex Luthor's like, go fight Batman because I have your mom. And he's like,
I don't think Superman has a positive impression of Batman, the Bat of Gotham, from the conversations that he has with like Bruce Wayne at Lex's library dedication or whatever it is. But I don't like Superman's a Boy Scout, and he's
except
like
for when he kills people,
except for that one time. Well,
you mean Zod? Or you mean that...
No, he kills like a bunch of people in Metropolis from the fight, like secondary to his direct... You know, like when he throws somebody through a building,
which he's also
he just kills like thousands of people. Right.
He's also
which is like Batman's position. Like, what are you doing?
But he also kills that guy at the very beginning that has Lois Lane hostage.
Yeah, I mean, it's arguable they didn't kill him. I don't know how you could survive that, but it wasn't like snapping his neck.
At first, I'm like, it was really cool because Lois Lane like let go of his arm because she knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
So this has obviously happened before.
Right.
And then Superman flies at him and doesn't throw him, but like punches him through two walls.
Yeah.
He's dead.
Essentially. It's like the thing with the Superman movie that you didn't watch.
Yeah.
People made a huge deal about it. Because, do you care if I spoil the end?
No.
Okay, at the end, he kills Zod. He's like snaps his neck,
which is
not. It's like not Superman, and people like got mad.
Yeah, but he didn't need to do that.
He straight up killed him.
Why didn't he just put his hand in front of Zod's eyes?
I don't know. How did you? So you know how it ends. Okay, so
because there's that woman or there's a family or something that Zod's gonna laser. Why did Superman just like hand in front of your eyes?
Right,
like, can't shoot through me because I'm indestructible.
Right. I mean, he hopefully would have done that, but either way, he snaps his neck. So that's like the most direct, like you literally put your hands on him and killed him.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can like blame Superman for like the destruction of Metropolis because Zod was trying to destroy the entire world. So like,
but you could have taken him away. Like you could have gone somewhere other than the middle of the city.
But they had the world eater thing. You know, the giant tripod thing.
How'd that get destroyed?
Superman and a nuke and some pilots.
So Zod didn't have to be present for that to get destroyed?
I mean, Superman had to be present for that to be destroyed.
But that was after he killed Zod or before?
This was before he killed Zod. Oh. Like, he was fighting Zod amidst a lot of things. And then, I mean, they do fight in different places. Like, he like, goes and fights one of the World Eaters, which is, like, in, like, the one that they, like, were fishing for the kryptonite at the beginning of the movie. There's one, like, out in the middle of the ocean, and they find a huge chunk of kryptonite.
Oh, yeah.
That one. He, like, goes and destroys that one. No, he destroys one in New York first, and then he goes and destroys that one. I can't remember the exact order. Either way, like, world's gonna die if Superman doesn't fight Zod, so he has to fight Zod.
Yeah, I'm not arguing he has to fight Zod. I'm just saying he's not off the hook for all those people dying.
No, see, I don't know. Collateral damage. It's either, I mean, it's, okay, so you'd rather just, like, not save the Earth? Because there's that. And
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he had to fight Zod. Mm-hmm. He didn't have to kill Zod.
True.
And all those people that died are definitely his.
I mean, they're dead. But I don't know. True, that I guess they're on his conscience, but like I don't blame him for all those deaths because it's either he fights that situation and there's a World Eater in Metropolis.
Yeah.
How are you going to stop that without people dying? Like as soon as it was there, it was killing people.
But yeah, so don't blame him for that. But blame him for all the buildings collapsing.
As a fight,
he's punching people through buildings.
Okay, well, I mean, I just still, I don't know.
He's Superman lover.
It's not a Superman lover. It's superheroes are saving the day.
What's your point of this? We're very off track.
I don't know.
All right, back to
I'm just trying to like defend Superman.
Back to what you're never going. I hate Superman with a passion.
I don't know.
Back to the future of these movies. Yeah. What is to stop? How is there ever going to be a good fight now between Batman and Joker? The whole purpose of the Joker always getting out of Arkham Asylum and causing chaos is because Batman won't kill him.
Yeah.
Nothing's stopping him from just shooting him in the face. So there can never be a Batman versus Joker fight in this universe.
In the next Batman, is it going to take place after Batman v Superman or before? Because I would enjoy a prequel showing how Robin died.
The death in the family would be a good storyline. That would be fun to see when it would show you as to why Batman's so brutal.
Right.
But if it doesn't happen, there's nothing stopping Batman from killing the Joker. His greatest villain of all time.
Right.
The whole point that he's a good villain is because he always gets out of jail. Mm-hmm. It's not going to happen if you have a bullet in your head.
True. If you kill the Joker, he's not coming back.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What do you think of the dream sequences that we've talked about? Remember that giant bat that he fought? It
made me think of Superman Red
why
Sun.
did I pay money for this?
Yes, partially, because it didn't really fit. I didn't feel like it fit well. Like, I got that the point was it shows Batman's fears of what could happen. But one of the scenes, the one in the desert, when he fights, like...
The future scene.
Yeah, the future scene. It made me think of Batman, or...
Is that...
Superman Red Sun.
Is the future scene from... Is it a dream, or is it from the computer? Because he's on the computer.
Oh, what the cuss happens to that dude from the future? Like...
That showed up?
Yeah.
See, at first, I thought it was Cyborg, but people have been saying it's Flash. And Flash travels through time all the time. Right. So he's like, save Lois. And essentially, the future is Batman, Lois dies, and Superman goes crazy and, like, enslaves the population. Mm-hmm. Darkseid's symbol, which is, like, one of the biggest villains in DC, is shown on the desert. Well, it's not on the desert, it's, like, Metropolis.
Yeah, just like post-apocalyptic.
Yeah. So his logo is shown there, and that's like saying like here in the future, Darkseid's going to be here.
Yeah.
But essentially, I thought it was Cyborg showing up from the past, but I guess it's a Flash. He had save Lois and some other stuff.
Yeah.
That's what it was, because it was future scene. Then Then he woke up, and then it was time travel scene, and then he woke up, and it was no more a dream sequence. And like that's when I leaned over and said Inception.
Yeah, dream within a dream.
The dream sequences ruined this movie for me. More so than anything else. Why? There's just no point to them. Well, there's not no point, but they're so confusing. That's one of the things I would have liked to know before I went into the movie. I would have, if I would have expected that.
Yeah.
Because it's impossible to tell if this is really happening or if this is just a dream sequence. Like they don't put any like cloudy things around the edges of the screen like they do in cartoons to show it's a dream. This is just, it was rough. Because there's the very beginning where he flies with the bats. There's a giant bat in the mausoleum. For whatever reason, they went to great lengths to not show his father's name, Thomas Wayne. I don't know. I guess you didn't notice that.
I didn't notice that.
When he goes to the mausoleum, it shows the mausoleum scene like 3 different times, and it's just focused on his mother's name, Martha. There's flowers in front of his dad's name.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know why they took so... Probably because Martha is such a big key factor in this stupid movie.
Yeah.
Because Batman's fighting Superman, and Superman's name is Martha, and Superman's like, no, Martha, I have to save you. And Batman's like, literally one punch away from killing Superman. He's like, what do you mean by that?
What do you mean by my mom's dead?
Why are you talking about my mom? Yeah.
No, my mom. No, my mom.
And then he stops fighting, and then somehow, some way, Lois Lane is like half a mile away, and she's like, that's his mother's name. Like, you did not hear what he just said. He whispered it under his breath. I don't know if you noticed that either. She was in a completely different room. She walks in and she's like, Batman's like, why'd you say that name? And Lois Lane's like, oh, well, I'm a great reporter. I know exactly what he's talking about. He must be talking about his mother, which coincidentally is also Bruce Wayne's mother, which coincidentally is also Batman.
There it is.
Dream sequences were awful. Did you like any of them?
I mean,
he killed more people in the apocalyptic one.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was cool what it showed, but I didn't really see.
Was it every time that you saw like Batman killing someone, you're just like, this movie gets worse and worse?
I just felt wrong.
Yeah,
because he wasn't even pulling punches. Like, it wasn't like it's perhaps that they could live. It was like death, kill.
Yeah.
Like, stab them in the heart.
Like, he, runs people over with his Batmobile. Right. He grapples that Batmobile, or he grapples that car behind him and slings at another car.
Yeah, and then he, pulls out a machine gun and just starts, mowing down people dudes. Like, it was just weird. See, I haven't seen a Batman like that.
Yeah, if I went back and watched it, I would think those fight scenes are awesome. Now that I know that he's killing people, and now that I can get, that reservation I have off of my chest. So, okay, I know he's going to kill people. I'm just going to enjoy this fight scene. But every time I saw him kill somebody, I'm like, ugh. Ooh,
yeah. It's like superhero movie. They don't kill people.
Yeah.
What is this?
Although Marvel movies kill people all the time.
That's true. Punisher.
Iron Man. Captain America.
Captain America.
He's a soldier though. I mean,
true.
And they're Nazis, so they're like half a person.
Yeah, Nazis don't count as people. We figured that out. I mean, after the Holocaust, they don't count.
What did you? What?
They lost their souls.
I don't know what you're saying anymore. What do you think of the Justice League trailer in the middle of this movie? You know what I'm talking about?
Talking about when they had the Flash and Cyborg and...
When Wonder Woman has the email and she scrolls one line at a time.
Yeah.
Just for dramatic purposes.
Going through it all. I know, we were
scroll.
We were making the scrolling finger gesture and we were go a little bit.
Yeah, because Bruce Wayne sent her an email, and every new line on the email is a new thought. And for whatever reason, she read every line. Only one line appeared on the screen at a certain time, so she'd always have to scroll. And then she looked at Cyborg, at Flash, at herself, Wonder Woman, and then also Aquaman.
Yeah.
And the way she clicked on them is the order that the movies are coming out.
Nice.
Which I guess is a cool little thing, but at the same time,
it was very obviously placed.
Yeah, it's like, look at these movies we have coming out.
Look how dramatic our universe is.
Wouldn't it be? There's a better way to introduce those characters.
Probably. Right? Than a file on Batman's computer?
Yeah.
Probably.
Because, the Flash could have been saving people in Metropolis while the Superman fight was going on.
Yeah.
And they could have just cut to that, a flashback of that.
Yeah.
They could have cut to...
I mean, they could have used that Superman fight with Zod as a starting point for all of the movies.
For literally everything, except for maybe Aquaman.
Yeah.
Well, no, because that thing is in the water. Right?
Yeah.
Death Eater's in the water. Or over the water.
Yeah. Whatever. I mean, they could use it.
Cyborg's origin is awesome. I don't know his full name, but I know that he's an NFL. He's like a football quarterback. He's like super good athlete, and then he like dies in an explosion. But his real name, his first name is Victor, and his last name starts with E or something. So people always chant Victory when he goes on the stage or when he goes out on the field, which I think is funny. I don't know what to think. There is a scene that was in the movie that I thought would have been a great trailer, literally by itself. It would have been a great teaser trailer. It was when Bruce Wayne was in his old mansion with his butler, Alfred, and they're talking, and Bruce Wayne is like, my oldest ancestors were hunters and gatherers.
Oh, I know.
I'm a Wayne, I'm a hunter. And I thought, if you just took that phrase and then faded to black and put Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice,
that would have been a sick trailer. Because it doesn't give anything.
It doesn't give anything away.
But it's a sick line.
It's
very memorable.
I'm like, dang, they missed it.
I feel like most movie franchises and producers need to use more discretion with their trailers. They give away...
Warner Brothers, we're looking at you.
Yeah, they just give away too much. In most movies, I would say the status quo, the normal, is to ruin the movie. Like, the best comedies, the best lines... in the trailer.
In the movie, 100%.
They're in the trailer.
Yeah.
A lot of superhero movies, in the trailer, there's, like, the biggest action movies. Like, Civil War might have already ruined one of the most, like, emotional parts of it with the, maybe Rhodey dying.
Rhodes dying, maybe.
Like, if that actually happens, they ruin that in the trailer.
Unless Captain America dies.
Which would be crazy.
It's sick. I love a good twist ending. If Captain America dies, and he's my favorite of the Avengers,
right,
I'd still be so happy. Like, yes, this is awesome.
It would be, I don't know, I feel like J.J. Abrams has done a good job. He's like the only one I can think of off the top of my head with the Star Wars trailer. I didn't feel like gave away that much. Yeah. Because when I watched Star Wars, all of the scenes that were in the trailer are in the first like 30 minutes of the movie. With the exception of like one thing. Like a couple things. When Rey was like crying, that was like later on. And then she's actually sitting over Finn's body when he got
people.
Like everybody thought that was Han Solo.
Yeah.
But it was Finn.
It was not.
And then but it didn't really give away a whole lot.
Rey Kenobi. He didn't say her full name. I'm just
Rey Kenobi. Yeah.
Rey Kenobi.
Tony is a avid follower of the Kenobi theory.
On my notes here, we've gone through the future and the Joker. We have dream sequences, Justice League trailer. I'm a Wayne, I'm a hunter. Which cool. It would be so sick if once this movie comes out or once people get access to it, if they remade a trailer.
Yeah.
So someone on the internet just remakes a trailer.
Maybe we should do that.
That doesn't spoil things.
That'd be nice.
Wouldn't that be so sick?
We should do that.
And then next is Martha, which we've talked about. Yeah. Why did he stop fighting just because he said his name? Like, shut up.
No, he's just like Batman is very emotional in this. He's just so like.
Do you wanna?
He's emotional, but it's more like the drained reserve. Like I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm so sick of all. I'm exhausted. I'm at the end of my rope. Like,
what do you think of the Batman and Superman fight?
I thought it was pretty good.
The biggest deterrent for me was when he had to reload his kryptonite grenade launcher, and it took like 5 minutes.
Right, like, and Superman wasn't able to stop him. I was like, Superman is as fast as Flash, right? At least that's like the
equivalent.
The argument's always like the race between Flash.
Yeah,
like that's a thing, and he can't even get to Batman before he reloads the stupid thing. He's like fiddling with it forever.
Well, I mean, he had been hit with kryptonite beforehand, but he has obviously gotten his strength back because he blocked that kick and threw him through like a wall.
Right.
So he's like, why is he laying on the ground?
The fight was very one-sided at different points. It was like...
There was a lot of times where it went back and forth. I thought that was cool.
Superman was like, owning. Then, like, Batman gets a kryptonite grenade on him. And then he's, like, destroying Superman for a little bit. And then Superman gets his strength back.
Does destroy Superman.
Dude, it is, like... pure brutal.
I felt bad for Superman. I'm like, he's literally going to kill him.
I was like, there's no way... Like, thinking about it before the movie, I was like, there's no way Batman's going to beat Superman.
Do you think... One of the reasons that Batman kills so much in this movie is so that way, during the Batman v Superman fight, you could think that Batman will actually kill Superman?
Maybe.
Because I was afraid for Superman for a while.
I mean, up to the end, like, it ruined it because the trailer, but I kind of assumed, like, that he wasn't going to kill him because the trailer. But and without that...
You could have been
like, he's legitimately going to kill Superman.
He might kill him. So...
Yeah. It was scary.
Maybe that was Zack Snyder's thought way. Yeah. I'm going to show Batman killing people so that way people might think he will kill Superman. Which is a cool thought. Which is a cool way to put a movie. It's just too bad that it didn't happen because I hate Superman and Batman's all right. So that fight was pretty good, though. A couple of fight scenes, a couple of those actual scenes were directly from the comic book.
Yeah.
The graphic novel is what The Dark Knight Returns is. It's a graphic novel. What do you think of Lex Luthor, Jesse Eisenberg?
I really feel like they could have done more with him. I didn't think... if they would have given him more screen time and developed his story and the whole thing a little bit more, I feel like I might have appreciated Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, because he came across as kind of like a... not necessarily a mastermind. Like, he's supposed to come off as a genius, but I didn't really get... Like, I kind of got it, but it wasn't very clear that he was a genius. He was just kind of insane, or what was the word that Lois uses, which gives him that one-liner? It's like he's psycho, which is...
a three-syllable word for...
Right. Listen. Like, I know what they tried to do with him. Psychotic. I thought they could have done better.
Jesse Eisenberg acted his heart out for this role.
Yeah.
But this Lex Luthor was awful. Like, Lex Luthor is supposed to be... In some comics, even in some Superman comics, obviously, he's like this really physically buff dude. He's like the peak of human perfection. He's like the smartest man in the world. He becomes the president of the United States. He's the best by popular vote.
Yeah.
He's like a superior businessman. And granted, this is Lex Luthor's son, Alexander Luthor. Mm-hmm. This guy is super small. He's like more of like a Steve Jobs type person, the way he like runs his business.
Right.
He has like a basketball court and he like wears like sweaters all the time.
But I feel like his personality was more akin to like Joker.
Yeah, he was like...
Or like the Riddler or
He's like crazy insane. Like, he's not a mastermind. He's not calm, cool, and collected.
I mean, he's very intelligent.
Lex Luthor. But what?
How
is he very intelligent? Like, what did they show when he was intelligent?
I mean, him figuring out the whole ship and getting like all the genes and stuff to make Doomsday. Which, I mean, I'm not saying they did a good job of it, but I feel like he came across as intelligent. But when I think of Lex Luthor, I think of like mastermind, super smart guy.
Super intelligent.
So I was expecting, and they did try and make him pull all these strings that made Batman hate Superman. Mm-hmm. But again, they didn't explain like any of it. So it just
like Superman fight Batman.
Right.
I was very impressed with when he threw Lois Lane over the edge of the building.
Yeah.
So I didn't think that was actually going to happen. Yeah. But it did. And the second time I was really impressed was when he had Martha Wayne. And he's like, I don't know where she is. And Superman got super upset. Mm-hmm. Which I thought was also very cool. But I don't think...
But there's no build up to that scene.
I don't want to see Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor anymore. When he originally auditioned for the cast, he had auditioned for Jimmy Olsen, who is the writer for the Daily Planet. He's the other in the desert scene with Lois Lane before Superman kills that guy. Mm-hmm. Jimmy Olsen is the other person with her.
Yeah.
And that gets killed immediately.
Right.
So Jimmy Olsen's a big character in the Superman universe, but he died like almost immediately, which, or like some people are like, why? Like, what? This is so weird. But that's what he originally auditioned for, and then they made him Lex Luthor. I think he tried his heart out. I think he did so well. I think as an actor, he did really well. Yeah. I think the casting choice was bad. I think his lines were bad. I think the directive he was given was bad. It's not his fault at all. But I definitely need to see a new Lex Luthor. I don't think this person would do it, but I think Bryan Cranston would be an awesome one.
Dude, he could pull it off.
But he's gone on record saying like,
I don't want to be Lex Luthor.
I will do a superhero movie if they make a character for me. Right. I'm not going to be a character.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know.
I thought he did an acceptable job. I got what they were doing, but like I said, I don't feel they just didn't set up his character very well in the story. He's just kind of like in a couple scenes, and there's like nothing really about him that you get, and then all of a sudden he threw together this huge, like he just reveals this huge thing he did the whole time. He's been doing, but there's like no foreshadowing. You can figure it out because he's the only bad guy in the movie, but I don't know.
Another really good scene that they spoiled in the trailer is when Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne are at the library and Lex Luthor comes up and like has that like little insider knowledge.
You should not fight this guy.
Like, I know who these people are. Like that's one of the better scenes spoiled in the trailer.
Right.
Last thing I have listed is, let's talk about kryptonite for a second.
Yeah.
Batman gets a whole bunch of kryptonite. Another scene that they could have done was Batman steals that kryptonite from Lex Luthor and there's a whole bunch of like bodies around. Yeah. They could have shown Batman doing that just to add some more action to the movie.
Right. But
they did not.
Which I'm wondering if that's going to be I kind of want to see the extended cut that's rated R that we made fun of.
Well, we just saw that deleted scene called Communion.
Yeah.
And where Lex Luthor's in the ship, and there's another thing there. And
he's like making something else.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would like to see the extended scenes because I'd like to see what. Because I felt like they were. I liked what they were trying to do. Mm-hmm. I don't think they achieved it very well. And really the cohesive story. Like maybe if there were more scenes, it would make it more cohesive, and they cut it down for time, and that kind of maybe that's what
maybe
did it. And maybe I just need to see the extended edition. But again, I wasn't super impressed with the movie.
Okay, there's one thing I want to talk about Kryptonite.
Okay.
Superman jumps in the water to get the Kryptonite spear that Batman had. Yeah. Can literally not swim up from the water because the Kryptonite is so close to him. Mm-hmm. After a love scene with Lois for 10 minutes in the middle of the Doomsday fight, he then takes the spear and flies like 20 miles into Doomsday's chest and through him.
Right.
How does he fly? How does he have enough momentum to do that
I don't know.
when he can't even swim?
Pure willpower.
Also, Lois Lane is like a major character in this movie. I don't think that's necessary at all.
She is a very major
like, get out. That's my biggest thing with Kryptonite. I think Batman's Kryptonite things are pretty cool. I would have loved to see, I just thought of this, Kryptonite brass knuckles. Would that be so sick?
That'd be perfect for Batman.
That'd be awesome. You want to talk about Doomsday fight real quick?
Sure.
What'd you think? Before we go into this, Wonder Woman is generally known as the best fighter on the Justice League. Better than Batman, better than Superman. She's the best fighter as an Amazon. She fights the best. Now, Superman's the strongest. Mm-hmm. He can fly the fastest. And he has laser vision. But Wonder Woman's like the best fighter in general. Mm-hmm. So just keep that in mind. I think seeing her fight was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Seeing her fight against Doomsday was pretty alright. Batman could not do anything.
Yeah, against Doomsday, he was like, oh, I'm getting out of here. I'm dodging this. I'm going to hide behind this rock. I'm going to hide over here.
He had one more He had a kryptonite grenade that he used.
That's it. He had one.
But Batman shouldn't be in a fight against Doomsday to begin with.
Yeah, that's not.
But he stayed and he fought, which is a nice little touch.
Right. I mean, he like flew by once.
Yeah.
He was like,
oh yeah, he was
like, mistake, and he's like, dodge. He's just like
trying to get him out of the city, which is something that Superman can't do.
Right. Apparently.
Yeah.
He sucks at that.
But so many people died in that fight. Yeah. Just because Doomsday gets hit by a nuclear weapon, which kills Superman, which is actually from the comics as well.
Yeah.
And I guess Doomsday isn't immune to nuclear weapons. For whatever reason, even though he was technically born on Krypton, he is still weakened by kryptonite. Doomsday specifically.
Yeah.
And I was thinking this one happened. Superman chucks the spear into Doomsday. You think that the kryptonite inside of him would be the most effective. Yeah. But then he pushes it through the other side.
Essentially. Right.
And it's you can actually see it on the other side. I'm like, that cannot be as effective as being like inside him.
I thought it was fine where it was before he did the second
don't need to
push.
Do that anymore.
Which, I mean, he shoves it in there and he's dying, and then he just like gives it another
go.
And it's like unnecessary. But,
Wonder Woman's lasso showed up.
Yeah, that was cool. I was glad. I was wondering about that in the fight scene. I was like, when is that going to make an appearance? Mm-hmm. And her bangles. Like, I was hoping when she showed up at the press conference or whatever it was at the beginning, that she would have bangles on. Some like even if they're just like artsy-fartsy ones that aren't like her regular ones.
Like regular
but bracelets. She didn't have any.
She didn't have anything.
And I was like, man, that'd be so cool. Like, what a little thing. Like,
she was, I liked her.
Yeah, she was good.
I don't know if I'll see a Wonder Woman movie because I don't really care about the Justice League as much. I'll see a Flash movie. I like Flash. I could even see a Cyborg movie maybe. Yeah. I don't have to be very convinced to see Aquaman.
I will see Aquaman. My opinion of Aquaman was really low.
And then you saw the set photos and you saw how cool he looks.
Dude, he looks super cool.
He looks sick.
I had a friend explain to me like some of the story behind Aquaman.
Yeah.
And I can't really recount most of it, but I just remember hearing what he was saying and I was like, yeah, I could get behind an Aquaman thing.
I just watched Flashpoint Paradox.
Yeah.
It's on Netflix. It's animated. It's in an alternate universe where Aquaman and Wonder Woman are in a battle over Earth to see who can. Very similar to Pokemon.
Nice.
Where Pokemon Ruby, where Team Aqua wants to make the whole world an ocean, and Team Magma wants to make the whole world land. Mm-hmm. That's essentially what's happening in this show. It is actually really interesting. It's from the Flash's perspective. Everyone's there. Superman he's been locked in a deep cave his whole life, ever since he landed in Earth. Mm-hmm. So he's not strong. He's not buff or anything. Right. He hasn't had the sunlight. Mm-hmm. So he's like this frailest little, like, after he got nuked in the movie, that's what he is.
It's like frail old man.
Yeah. So If you have, it was like an hour and a half long. I would definitely suggest watching it. Flashpoint Paradox is what it's called. It's animated. It's legit. The Doomsday fight in this and Batman v Superman, I didn't think it was that good. When you have someone that's superpowered as Doomsday, that you have heroes that can't really do anything against him, it's just kind of boring, right? Because Batman can't fight him. Wonder Woman fights him, but she gets like thrown back all the time, so there's not really like, there's no choreography between the fight.
Right.
There's no, like, Batman has martial arts, so all of his fights are like super choreographed, super well. To compare it again to like Marvel, they always fight like human-sized targets. Like even Captain America fights Ultron on that truck, and that's choreographed well. This one is just, you run at him, he hits you back. You run at him, he hits you back. There's no
over and over again until Superman gets done with his love fest with
stops making out with Lois Lane.
Right. Because I mean, honestly, he's the only one that has enough power to defeat him.
But do you agree? Like, if you think about it, like there wasn't.
Well, I mean, that enemy is not good for all the characters in Justice League or in this movie. I thought it was an exciting scene.
If Doomsday had like a legion of human-sized people that Batman could fight, that'd be sick.
That would be pretty cool.
Because then he would be useful.
Right. But I mean, I appreciated the screen time for Wonder Woman because she did have a lot more screen time in that ending of the fight.
Yeah.
That last fight. Batman had a lot of screen time in the story.
Yeah.
And against Superman. And then Superman obviously is in the beginning and then essentially at the end. Like, those are his two main times, right? Like when he fights Batman and then all that. So, I mean, I kind of felt like, I mean, the end scene was more for Superman, right? And it sets up kind of like the ending with him dying was like...
How frustrating was it that they cut away from the fight to have Lois Lane and Superman make out?
I thought it was a little weird, especially how long it took.
And it was like super action-packed, and then they stopped for everything.
Like, it would have been fine, because Iron Man has done this before, where Pepper Potts is in like the ending fight scene, I think Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
But it's not like, here, let's take a little monologue time. It's like, she's in it, and then that's it. Like, if Lois Lane was in there, like, threw him the spear, and then he'd be like, sick. Thanks. And then, like, went and killed him. Like, sweet. Awesome.
But he had to stop. He literally stopped fighting to save Lois Lane.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
But that fits the character in the movie, though. Because that's kind of what he says.
No, that's... It's Superman's death.
Yeah.
He dies in this. And then he gets buried, and at the very end... when we were watching, we saw it together.
Right.
The theater turned on the lights in, like, the last 5 minutes.
Yeah. The movie wasn't even over yet, and the lights went on. I was like, this isn't over yet. Like, stop it.
And that ruined the ending for me. That was a theater problem, not a movie problem. Yeah. And then Batman's like, I know what's going to happen. We need to get the Justice League together.
Essentially. I mean, he doesn't say Justice League, but he's like, we need to get...
people together.
Metahumans or whatever the term was.
But...
Which, I was like, yeah, I could see... I'm going to see it. Like, I'm okay. Yes, I was excited. I like Ben Affleck. Like, I like him as Batman.
Batfleck.
And I like him being the person who brings it all together.
But...
Lots of buts.
We go to the future version, and we see Superman fighting against everybody because Lois Lane has died. And whoever came through the time paradox and said you have to save Lois Lane.
Right.
There was never a scene in this movie where Batman could have saved Lois Lane. Also, if Batman thinks that Superman is dead, there's no reason to get the whole team together because he's no longer a villain.
Right.
But also, if Batman for some reason knows that he's alive, why doesn't he just talk to him? Be like, listen, we're gonna protect Lois Lane. You're not gonna go crazy.
Right.
So,
I mean, what would be cool is if they use that storyline where Lois Lane dies. Like they have
a new main character in the movie. Dumb.
Well, that's all I got for Batman v Superman.
We did pretty well for not having any notes.
Yeah. A little look into our preparation for this one. We watched the movie and then we're like, yeah, we'll just record it.
The movie got out at like 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I had gotten a call in the middle of the movie.
And you had like work.
That I had to go into work the next day at 5 o'clock. So you're like, let's talk about the movie. I'm like, no. I need to go.
Yeah.
So, if you want to tweet at us, you can tweet at us at UPGamersPodcast. You can email us at underpaidgamerspodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you on both fronts. We want to know your opinions. We want to know what you thought about the movie. If you liked it, if you disliked it, let us know. If you would like to rate and review us on iTunes, it really helps us. It bolsters our ranking so more people can see us and we can have a bigger community.
We would love that. We also have a website.
There we go.
underpaidgamers.wordpress.com. We got a blog on there. Currently, I'm the only author, but we've got 2 other people who are officially authors but haven't posted anything yet.
That's me. I'm one of them.
Tony's one of them.
I have an idea.
He does have an idea, and he's put together some good notes. So I should be posting some more stuff in the near future. I'm working on 4 posts right now. Almost done with one of them. Halfway through a second one. So working through that. If you'd like to check out that would be swell. We have a Facebook group if you'd like to join that.
Yeah,
we post surveys and random stuff during the week. A lot of times that's one of the ways we get ideas or like talking points. Sometimes we use the Facebook group for that. So if you'd like to do that, it's linked into our SoundCloud profile. You can check that out.
SoundCloud is where you can download a free episode.
Yeah.
Any episode for free.
Yeah.
As many times as you like. As well as iTunes. Always a free download.
Always free.
On iTunes.
We're free.
We are free.
We're cheap.
We're underpaid.
Free. We are underpaid.
Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed our commentary on Batman vs. Superman. The Dawn of Justice. The Yawn of Justice.
The Yawn of Justice.
Let us know what you think. Signing off.
Sayonara!